Hi, my name is Gavin Schilling and I'm a senior, and I'm going to be talking about perseverance. So to me, perseverance is when you're faced with a challenge or like a setback, you don't let yourself you don't let yourself give up. You have this fortitude and this resilience when faced with challenges, and you push through difficult times and are able to overcome those challenges ultimately. And I think the biggest thing about perseverance for me is understanding that it's something that you can develop and you can get better at. Like, it's not a static trait like this person's persevering, this person's not. Like, everyone can be persevering and everyone can develop their perseverance. And I think that's really a big idea, especially when talking about perseverance, because it's such an important skill. Because we all face challenges in our life. And so I'm going to be talking about a few things that I've done to help myself cultivate perseverance and develop my perseverance, and hopefully this can help you too. So I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is recognizing how things are temporary, especially our emotions during situations where it's really stressful. Like, you open Power School and you see you did really bad on a test, right? And this might demotivate you from wanting to try hard in the next class or the next test or whatever. But really understanding that in that moment when you open Power School and you feel really down on yourself, recognizing that emotion isn't permanent, right? That's a temporary way you're feeling, and things are going to improve from there. So don't get swept up by those emotions that you have in the heat of the moment. But also don't suppress how you're feeling either, because that's what makes us humans, I guess you could say. And be curious about those emotions, but you don't have to fully react to them always. You can have those emotions when you're angry, but you don't have to always lash out at people then. So easy ways to do this, there's a lot of meditation practices you can do that focus on looking at how emotions and the way you're feeling in the moment is pretty temporary, and those are really great tools to practice that. Also, another kind of going off of that is that life is always changing too, right? Nothing's static in life either, and things can change and will change in a matter of minutes. So it's important, just like this pandemic, I think is a perfect example. None of us expected this to happen, so it's important to make the most of what you can. But going off of that, I think more importantly for perseverance is not being held back on what you didn't do, or focusing on your regrets or things that you didn't make the most of. Because ultimately when you're faced with challenges and setbacks, you don't want to be focusing on things that are holding you back, like your regrets. So it's important to kind of know that the past is in the past, and focus on the present moment. And that's also you don't want to worry then about the future. If you this is another school analogy, but if you did bad on a project and your grade dropped a lot, you don't want to worry about, I have this another paper that's coming up here soon and there's no way I'm going to do good on it either. You want to focus on what you can control, really, and those are your attitude and your actions, and everything else is kind of up to what you've done in the past or just things that are completely out of your control. So focusing on your attitude and actions in those tough moments is a really great way to help you be more persevering and overcome those situations. So focusing on what you can do in the present. Also, kind of going off of not being stuck in the past or the future, is having a compassionate inner voice. A lot of us, it's really easy to have a negative, be a negative critic about yourself. So if you messed up while you were giving a speech or something, it's really easy to say, wow, I'm horrible at this, there's no way I'm going to be able to be good at this ever. But when you want to have a compassionate self-voice, that helps you overcome these challenges, right? If you're just nagging yourself all the time, it's not helping you overcome setbacks. It's just keeping you down in those setbacks, whereas to be persevering, you want to overcome those challenges and grow and get better. So that's where, I think the biggest thing for me, that's helped me is talking to myself like a friend would. A friend wouldn't be wow, that speech was bad, you're never going to be able to, do good at public speaking. A friend would be like, you know, that's okay. This was one speech, and you can learn and grow from this experience, and you can practice more the next time, and you know, everything's going to be okay. And so I think rephrasing how you talk to yourself and in a more compassionate way can really help you persevere through setbacks and challenges that you face. I think going off of this too kind of is being value driven. So that's like knowing your values and reflecting on what's important to you, what your goals are, and using those to kind of direct what you want to do and kind of drive what your life really is. And so like an example for me is that I really aspire to and look up to my grandfather, who was a really hardworking person and always made time to be there for people. And so I have these values to be like my grandfather, essentially. And like when I'm when I'm in a difficult situation, I like think about, you know, the values I want to have, and those are gonna help me persevere through challenges. But also like I also value being compassionate to other people, just as I will want people to be compassionate to me. And so even in times when I'm not in like a difficult situation, I'm still able to use those values to direct me, and you know, be focused on and like have a understanding of what I want to do. That's pretty concrete. I guess second to final point here is reaching out to others. Like you aren't going through life alone, and it can be so helpful just to tell people how you're feeling, like talking to your parents or your friends, or even like counselors, teachers, therapists. Like it's so relieving when you are overwhelmed or having a hard time overcoming an obstacle or a setback, and it can make a world of difference reaching out and talking to somebody. And that's a great way also to cultivate your perseverance too, because you're reaching out and engaging with others. And so my last point is remembering that the path to success isn't a straight line. So a lot of people, and myself included, before I heard this, envisioned that like a path to success is like a straight line from here all the way up to like where you want to go, and what your dreams are. When in reality, you know, it goes up and down, and there's hills and valleys on your way to that ultimate goal. And so someone said this to me a while ago too, but every successful person is a comeback artist. So what that means is when you're in those valleys, right, you can go back up towards your goal, or you can give up. And perseverance really is that starting your comeback when you're in those low points. And also recognizing and understanding that setbacks, challenges, bad news, tragedies are a normal part of life, and they're gonna happen to you. And so it's important to develop that perseverance, because that's a normal part of life that everybody faces. And so when you have that opportunity to either have a comeback or give up, you know, that's when you can engage your perseverance and look at your values, talk to yourself compassionately to overcome that setback or challenge. And also, like, this goes for everything, but this is something that you're gonna practice over time, and I can't always persevere through every single setback I face, immediately. And this is, so like, it's not realistic to expect you're gonna now be able to overcome everything. This is something that takes practice and takes time to develop. So again, just having that compassionate voice and being willing to understand that, you know, things are gonna go up and down. You're gonna grow and get better. Sometimes it's gonna be harder than others to persevere through things, but hopefully these are ways that, you know, can help you grow and develop your perseverance, and gradually you can be better at overcoming challenges and setbacks. So this was my perspective on what perseverance means to me and the ways that I've cultivated perseverance in my life, and hopefully this was helpful to you too.